Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game Over Live, Game Over Winnipeg. I'm your host, Brady. I'll be with you here today. Of course, I've got on a fantastic guest here today. I've got Jackson from Jets Hub on YouTube. Jackson, why don't you say hello to the old audience here?
Yeah, hi everyone.
Jackson does a lot of post game stuff in regards to the Jets on his YouTube channel. Does a lot of kind of video essay style stuff. One of my favorites is the team. What was it called? The team that never won, or what was it called again? The one about the 2017-18.
Yeah, the best to never do it. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, that was a great video. Anyways, we're gonna be delving into the Jets game today. Obviously, we lost 3-0 in a pretty tough game against the Penguins. So we're going to be chatting about the goalie duel that was, talk a little bit about special teams play from the Jets, and then obviously we'll get into the lineup decisions as well as the unfortunate injury update we got from Nikolai Ehlers. But before all that, want to bet? You can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook. Football continues, basketball is back, and the hockey season is well underway. Bet pregame, live, or in play, or on one of our many prop bets. Made for Canadians, by Canadians, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all the sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Ontario only, 18 plus. Please play responsibly. All righty, we can jump right into the show. Honestly, not a lot to talk about from that game. If it was pretty much a snoozer most of the way through. I guess the biggest thing we could chat on is the goalie duel that we had between Tristan Jarry and Connor Hellebuyck. Jackson, just give me a quick take on the game. What did you see out there from both tendies?
Yeah, Tristan Jarry, he started the year 4-0, and ever since then, I believe they had him up on the thing. It was like 1-6-2 or like something around there. So he's been struggling, and I thought he looked really good today. His rebounds were a little bit suspect, but for the most part, I don't think the Jets had the greatest quality chances on net as they would have liked to. And then on the other end, I think Hellebuyck played a pretty solid game aside from the turnover there with 2 minutes left, trying to get to the bench. Turning that one over, but I thought he played fine, and I think the Jets maybe got away with a little bit of too many 2-on-1 opportunities for Pittsburgh, but he can't stop them all every night, and I don't know, Jets just got to be better there.
Yeah, I agree, and honestly, like with that turnover goal for the second goal, like that's one where you go, well, that kind of is the game. But at the same time, when a goalie is trying to, come out and had he left the net 3 seconds earlier, he wouldn't have even had the opportunity to try and play that puck. But as Steve Dangle frequently says, if you're a goalie, tend the goal. And Hellebuyck is no stranger to getting caught outside of his crease. But yeah, looking at that game, I thought that, I didn't think that the Jets made it incredibly difficult on Tristan Jarry. But at the same time, Tristan Jarry still had a really good game. He made some really timely saves. I think we could kind of get into what I found is that the Jets really couldn't create much at all today. It seemed like almost every single time that they were creating any chances, it was coming from near the blue line. The defense were getting shots on net, and then every now and then you get a bit of chaos in front, and you try and get a tap in, a greasy goal. But other than that, it didn't seem like the Jets were able to really make any of those nice feeds into the middle to try and get a high quality chance. And I think that's one of the things that, Rick Bowness really needs to tee in on and make sure that, the Jets could figure that out, because at the end of the day, you can get away with scoring as many goals, from the outside, from the perimeters, getting lucky bounces and this and that, but that's not a long-term key for success, in my opinion. So that's one thing I personally would like to see the Jets tighten up on. Other than that, I'll throw it to you. Was there any players out there today that you wanted to highlight, you thought had a good game? Maybe some you thought had not as good of a game. I have a couple guys on my list who I definitely want to mention, but I'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the guy that I want to talk about, the guy that impressed me the most was definitely Cole Perfetti.
Yeah.
I think he had his best game in quite a while. He was definitely visible, making really nice plays both ends of the ice there. He had a couple really nice scoring opportunities. I think he could have had a goal if he didn't fan on it at
Yeah.
the end of the third there. But no, he was all over the place, and that's really encouraging to see because he has been a little bit quiet the last couple. So I was happy to see him bounce back there. I thought Dubois had a really had another really strong game, just being a bit of a bowling ball, and just I don't know, drawing penalties. He drew two today. He now leads the league in drawn penalties, so that's again good to see. And yeah, I'll throw it to you for who you thought needed some work today.
Needs some
Uh,
work. I think.
or
Oh, so here's the thing. So I was looking at the game, and there's one player who I thought had not his best game, and we've given him praise throughout the season. I thought Sam Gagner had a pretty rough game today. I found that from the get go, there was a lot of times where he was getting passes, in the offensive zone that were kind of just bouncing right off his stick. It just didn't seem like he could really keep the puck on his stick today. And then the thing that really hammered it home that I needed to give him a bit of a talking to on here was on the first goal. If you watch him on that first goal, he so easily could have been right up in behind Malkin on the kind of give and go that the Penguins had. He just kind of stopped skating as soon as he kind of passed the red line and just kind of glided, had a bit of a controller disconnected moment. And that was really, really tough in a game that was so intense and so tight. No goals at this point. It's going to the third period. You'd hope a guy who's playing on your top line would be a little bit more engaged and making sure that to try and stop as much as he can from going on your own goal. But I thought he had a rough game. I thought Wheeler played all right. The other guys who I would say maybe I think they picked it up in the end, but I found that Morrissey and Pionk, just that pairing, had a lot of turnovers early on in the game that were pretty rough. And then, geez, I'm just kind of going lightning round here. I thought the third line. Actually, this is actually a decent topic. The Rick Bowness chose the third line, the Menelainen and Lowry, Axel Jonsson, Fjallby line to be, saddled with trying to wrangle Crosby and his line, to which I found they got absolutely caved in all game. What's your opinion on saddling a third line as your shutdown line to try and shut down one of the best in the game? And just the fact that it didn't really go well. Do you lean on the side more of at least you got away with your third line, doing okay, decently against this great line? Or do you look at it and go, maybe you'd hope that one of your top lines could take on that defensive responsibility?
Yeah, for sure. The third line, it's interesting, right? Because it's been a little bit of a revolving door so far this year, with guys getting hurt. I believe the line started the year with Barron on the wing with Lowry, and then Appleton on the right there. And now, obviously, Mason Appleton hurt. Morgan Barron's been out for quite a while now. And as good as Saku Menelainen and Johnson Fajalbi have been this season thus far, you probably don't, in my opinion, probably don't want them playing up against Sidney Crosby and Jake Gensel every night, or not every night, but just that level of competition. In my opinion, I think Lowry holds his own, and I think that's fine. But you would like to see, in my opinion, more of maybe Pierre-Luc Dubois sticking to Crosby and stuff like that. He showed he was playing pretty good defensively tonight, and I thought maybe from maybe the top two lines there would have been a little bit more effective because the third line definitely was struggling.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that, on a good team, you would hope that, one of your top two lines can take on that responsibility. And sure, I do see the merit in trying to free up, your top lines to go against, the second and third lines of the other team. But at the same time, it's just kind of almost like you're almost, what's the word? Like offering the other team's first line a good matchup, and so that's one of the things where I agree with you. I think that PLD's line is the line that should be going up against the top line on the other team, at least PLD as the centerman. I don't know about it in its current construction, how they would do against a top line, but yeah, I'm really glad that you mentioned Cole Perfetti earlier. I thought he had a fantastic game. It's nice to see him shooting the puck again. He seems to be one of those guys that when things aren't going as well, he defers to trying to get it to other people, which works out sometimes, but a lot of times you hope he would actually take his opportunities and shoot the puck a bit more, because he does have a pretty good shot. But yeah, I think from here though we can kind of move on to the power play as well as the PK. First off, I don't think we really need to speak too much on the PK unless you have anything you want to speak on it specifically. I thought they had a pretty decent game, but the Jets have only one penalty, 2 penalties. I can't remember. 2 penalties. It was PLD and Menelainen, right? But yeah, as far as the power play goes, what was your take on their game today?
I don't know. They looked a little quicker today, but the one thing that I've noticed they've been doing a lot is when they're looking for a pass, like when Scheifele was down by the corner there, and he was just taking too long to make a read. And when you have a pretty good disciplined team like the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're just really sound. Immediately, as soon as he stopped, guy took the puck off the stick, whoop, down the ice, and the Jets had a little bit of trouble getting it back in. But when they do get it all set up and they are moving really quick, like they were for the most part tonight, I think they've been. I think they were pretty effective. They did have a few decent chances there, but in the future, yeah, I would just like to have it just going a little bit quicker.
Yeah, for sure. My view on the power play is I thought they had a decent game. The first power play that they had was brutal though. That one it seemed like they couldn't get anything going. Luckily, the second power play unit came on and actually provided a bit of offense, but again, nothing worthwhile, of course, in this 3-0 game. But then, yeah, the second time that they came out there, it seemed like they had a little bit more pep in their step. The only thing I would say is I wasn't a huge fan of some of the shot selection they took. There are times where you're sitting there going, geez, I really, really want, Kyle Connor to just rip this shot. And then he tries to make a fancy little pass into the middle, which, when those work out, absolutely. But you got to go with, the more likely thing, because regardless, even if you get that shot on net, you can still get rebounds from it. You can still get opportunities in down low. And then, Josh Morrissey, as much as he's having a great season, I thought, on the power play today, he seemed pretty lackluster. I mean, he had some passes that were kind of flubby. He had the one time where there was a lot of chaos going on, and then the puck came up top to him, and you've got Scheifele waiting there, like stick up in the air, ready for a one-timer, and then he takes a shot through not too much traffic, and Jari, of course, being a good goalie, just smothers that. So yeah, like I think there is a lot of improvement that could happen on the power play, but it is what it is. It's one game. It's more of a season-long thing that we've been kind of harping on the power play. It still seems a little bit stale.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I guess we can chat quickly on Nick Ehlers' injury and just kind of the ramifications from that. So obviously announced, I believe it was earlier this morning. Nikolai Ehlers will be out longer as he's getting surgery for a sports hernia, which is a really tough blow to a Jets team that has been sitting there going, maybe next game. At a point like this where you're sitting on multiple injuries on the forward side of things, you've got Mason Appleton out, you've got Morgan Barron out, you've got Nikolai Ehlers out, all these guys who are out. I'm just going to put you in Chevy's position right now. Are you just trying to, grit your teeth, tough it out, and keep going with what you got? Are you calling someone up from the Moose? Are you, trying to orchestrate a trade? And if so, are there any guys you're targeting?
Yeah, well, if I was Chevy, I think I'd be sniffing around, and I do believe that he is looking around for a trade candidate to fill in maybe a top nine right wing spot right now. Um, Obviously, with Ehlers going down, Appleton going down, the right side is pretty thin at the moment. If I were Chevy, I would be looking into it a little bit more aggressively in about a game or two. We'll see how the Jets do against Carolina and their next couple games there. But I definitely think that they should be looking for maybe a little bit more of a quicker player, a guy that can bring some speed to the lineup. With obviously Nikolai Ehlers, the fastest Jet on the team right now. With him out, this team really doesn't have a ton of speed. Like Johnson, Fajalbi is fast, and we know Shifley and Connor are good skaters too. But outside of those guys, we don't really have a ton of speed, really at all in the forward core. A guy that I would be interested in, if I was Kevin Cheveldayoff, is Connor Garland. He's a guy that's been, on the trade block presumably for maybe about a year now. I'm sure teams have been calling about him with Vancouver struggling out of the gate this year.
Mhm.
So that's one target that I think would be a really good fit in the Jets, and he could probably fit on that top line pretty well with Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor to fill the gap.
Absolutely. That's honestly, you went exactly where I was thinking, and I'm glad you said it. Connor Garland is kind of almost exactly the type of player that the Jets kind of need right now, and even regardless of Nikolai Ehlers' injury, like he's a guy who should be fitting into, who could easily fit into the top nine with Ehlers still
Mhm.
being, if Ehlers were to come back from injury. Like imagine a top nine where you're able to push down Blake Wheeler to be on a third line with Adam Lowry and Morgan Barron or whoever.
For sure.
And I think both me and Liz, the other person I got on this show with me, are always big proponents of having the two guys on a line with just kind of a third complementary player. And I think that Connor Garland is almost exactly the perfect kind of third guy on a line where he's going to go into the corners, he's going to be tough on the pucks, he's going to be winning board battles and then getting the pucks to the guys who actually can make hay with it. Um,
Hmm.
Other than that, I think that regardless of the injury, the Jets should be sniffing around four trades, because again, the whole logjam on the back end has been kind of a little bit ridiculous at this point. And it's crazy to be like it's nice to see that it's unfortunate to be like it's nice to see what the Jets can do with Dylan DeMello out of the lineup. It's unfortunate to be like, oh, let's see what all these guys who have just been kind of floating around the roster can do. And I thought that Dylan Sandberg had another really good game today. I would say not as flashy good as the previous game against the Ducks, but I thought that he had a lot of good puck touches and a lot of good breaking out. And of course, we have another game where Ville Heinola is sitting in the press box. Do you see the Jets playing him at any point in the next stretch of games?
Well, if we're going off past experience here, I'd say probably not. However, you saw, the power play kind of struggle a little bit with breakouts and puck movement in the ozone. I think that it would be beneficial to the Jets if they were to bring in a guy like Ville into the lineup. Maybe you take out Kyle Capobianco, who I think's played all right. But again, I don't think it's anything that he's showing that you absolutely have to keep him in the lineup. Um, I would like to see a little bit of a trial run with Philly, and maybe smooth things out, maybe calm his agent down a little bit. And who knows? Maybe it could work out. Maybe Philly could be really good this season, and maybe he'll stick. Who knows?
Yeah. It's very funny to see the his agent coming out and not even being like Ville deserves a spot, but but just being like he deserves a trial run to just
Of course.
show that what he can do. And it's a little insane to me the fact that Bonus has previously said to him and been like he's an NHL defenseman, he just needs to round out his game, and yet they're doing the same type of thing where they're just going to leave him in the press box for a couple games. He'll get a little rusty. And then by the time they actually put him into the lineup, it's a little bit rough and tough to get your legs back under you when you haven't played a game in a while now. But I digress. Yeah, did you have any other notes on the game? Sorry, I'm blanking out here.
Yeah, no, really, tough game to talk about. There really wasn't a ton of fun stuff going on, really at all. I think the best chances the Jets really had were almost like most of them created by Tristan Jarry just not being able to smother the puck. There was one in the first period there where it just kind of stuck in behind his skate there, and Jets weren't able to get on it. And there was one, I believe, near the end of the second, and he just kind of juggled that one. But yeah, not a ton of fun in this one, really. You.
For sure, yeah. You cut out right at the end there. What was the last thing you said? Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You're
Yeah,
good.
no. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, no.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no. I was just saying not a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, I'll just throw it to you if you have anything left.
Yeah, I did want to touch on. Initially, I thought that I wanted to talk a little bit more about PLD because I feel like he's, coming from the off season, that everyone kind of turned on him just based on the things that came out in the media with him and his agent and stuff like that. I thought that since the start of the season, he's really shown that he's still here to play. And I think today's game was a really good point. I was pretty upset with him when he took his first penalty because that's just PLD being PLD and being a bit of a dumbass. But at the same time, maybe it's a bit of the meta game where later on in the game the other team's a little more pissed off at you and he draws a lot of penalties. And of course, him drawing 2 penalties today was fantastic. But it would have been nice to see him get on the score sheet. But unfortunately, that's just not how anything will go with the Jets today. But yeah, honestly, I think we're kind of winding down here. It was unfortunately a pretty short episode, just because, again, not a ton to speak on that game. That not a lot really happened, and it's a 3-0 game that really was a 1-0 game. So just to finish off here, again, everyone, please go check out Jackson's YouTube channel, Jets Hub. On YouTube, and then also give him a follow on Twitter, Jets Hub YT. He's a great follow, makes some great videos on YouTube. Please go check him out. He's a fantastic guy. Other than that, I guess we're gonna sign off here. Make sure to share the stream with some friends. Let them know we're going live next time. Give us a like on YouTube. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you all for joining in. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.